Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks and plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the Lego world. I'm your minifigure host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing today? Hopefully you're doing quite well. If not, hopefully this will pick you up a little bit with a little spirited interview today with Mike from The Cool Factor. Had a chance to sit down with Mike in Chicago and just pick his brain a little bit, you know, with his YouTube channel up and coming, and his videos are incredibly well done in post-production. And you can tell when somebody has an eye for a camera because it comes across completely different. I don't have that. I don't have that vision. I can't see this and that. And some people just can, and some people just get it really, really well done. So I hope you enjoy this with Mike. Let's go ahead and kick it off. You guys are lucky enough today to have an opportunity to speak to somebody that has a very, very special place in the Lego community, I would say. We all do. You know you do.
Thank you. Wow. Okay. What an introduction. I appreciate it.
So we are talking with Mike from The Cool Factor.
Thank you for the cool emphasis. I try to be cool.
Because that's...
Oh, the announcement?
Uh-huh. So, Mike... you have a very interesting, fun time with your stream, Lego Building, which we'll talk about here in a minute. And your one stream, the one night, I think I was on there from the time you got on till it ended, and then we chatted a good long time in there, and I was like, you need to come onto the show in Chicago. You said you were coming to Chicago.
I'm here, so yes.
I needed to have you. So
I feel honored.
I'm glad you're here. And you flew the whole way. Where'd you fly from? I can't remember.
San Diego.
San Diego?
Yes, sir.
Santiago.
For the record, viewers or listeners, it's as cold there as it is right now in Chicago. It's all the same.
Yeah, it's not very nice here in Chicago.
Everywhere is cold.
I left 90-degree weather for dreary and 58 degrees. But so, Mike, thank you for joining us, giving us your presence today.
Thank you for having me.
This format, because this is your first podcast.
I feel honored, yes. And
yes.
I say that with specificity because this is the first time I'm talking to a host and sitting next to me through a microphone. Yay!
Yeah, all
so
right.
that's very cool. Very cool.
So, Mike, tell us a little bit about where you are now, where you came from, what's going on. I mean, you got a big fancy schmancy camera hanging out in front of you, which looks incredible.
The camera never leaves my side. That's like a thing I do. Yes. So how do I start, man? Like history of your life in quick format. I moved to the US in 2014, end of 2014. December 2014, worked in a Lego store quickly after I got my work permit because I come from Europe. My accent is Polish. Ever since I got back to Lego through Lego store, I became an AFOL. And then I met a guy named Jack that was running a channel called Brick Vault. So some things connected, dots connected, and I ended up being their editor, then their host, their co-producer. And a lot of people still recognize me from that. I was actually on the convention floor today for the first time ever in Brick World Chicago. And the amount of people that stopped me in my track saying like, that's you from Brick World. I was like, that's like, I feel like an old actor being recognized for a role I had, 5 years ago. It's super funny. It's super flattering as well because I did enjoy making content for them. So that lasted from 2016 to 2019, I believe, if I count correctly. In the meantime, I met so many amazing people in the Lego community that gave me the chance to kind of shine and dive more into content creation. So Beyond the Brick is like something I want to shout out to because we collaborate so much on reviews, correspondence from events like this. Here I'm not on Beyond the Brick's business, but the friends are here and like they help me being here actually, so that's amazing.
Yeah, they're actually right across the way right now.
I see them right now.
The
yes.
Hanlons, yeah.
I want to wave, but
they just posed for a picture of somebody
in a video right now. Yes. So those guys are also fantastic supporters of me being online, and also run the Cool Factor, which started like shortly after Brick Vault. And Cool Factor is also a Lego content channel with reviews, whatnot, reviews, news, chatter. Big news for me is that the Cool Factor turned full-time as of a week ago, because I worked in a video production job for the last 4 years outside of Lego, and that ended abruptly for me. So I can totally share, and I'm comfortable with sharing that I am right now trying to pursue this full-time dream of mine, and it's been just a week, so I'm in a transitional period, and best of luck to me.
Best of luck to you.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, you do one hell of a job.
Thank you. Wow.
Your quality is, I mean, it's up there. Like,
okay.
Your stream has been really, really cool to just kind of be a part of.
Thank you.
And
that means a lot.
You just have a different vibe, a very unique vibe.
Okay.
Obviously, you have the accent, and we talked about Polish food and stuff like that.
It is something I like. I have periods of hating this in myself and loving this, because quick story, like I'm gonna interrupt you.
No, go.
Because I was mocked for my accent back in Brickvolt days. I was mocked. I had maybe not a lot, but I had toxicity regarding the way I speak and the way I pronounce things. And my English was much worse. If you watch my videos from 5 years ago, my English was worse, and I agree on that. But then I was really flattened by a lot of bad comments, and that got into my personal headspace. So I turned it around, and actually now more people say that I have a unique way of speaking, and that builds me forward. So that's great. So that's something I would like to just appreciate right now. But yeah, basically that's the way it goes.
Well, you touched on the kind of the toxicity, and it happens. It happens in every hobby.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to happen as often here at Brick Road Chicago, at least not to your face. I don't care what somebody says behind your back.
Let's
really
divide in-person events, which here is amazing, but the internet can be sometimes weird.
You're right.
In every niche, I guess.
The keyboard warriors,
exactly.
I get to.
Yeah.
No, I get it. So you're taking on this full-time endeavor, and like I said, your stuff is. You just do a really good job. You have an eye for it. You talked about your previous career.
It's
and
so
stuff.
interesting hearing this in person, because I get comments that are very flattering, and I never take them for granted.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you guys are exaggerating. I try my best, and I always feel like I'm behind where I want to be.
Yeah.
It's like this never-ending strive for just better quality, better production. Maybe that's what led me to the corporate world of video production. But for me personally, I always pursue, if you ask me how many times I revamped my studio over the last year, that's going to be 20 times.
Yeah.
The light goes here, the audio goes here, the table goes here. It's crazy. So it's a curse. It's actually an addiction. If I say. But thank you. Just wanted to say thank you for saying that to me in person, because this is I never heard that in person.
Well, it's good. If I can be the first,
so
awesome. Hopefully, I'm not the last.
People mention that, but kind of in your face.
No.
Thank you. That means a lot. It really means. It does.
So with this new journey, I shouldn't say new journey. You've kind of been going down this road, but now pushing it up a whole hell of a lot further than what you thought it was going to be.
Yes.
Where do you want things to go from here?
I gotta say, I don't pursue numbers per se, because you would say, oh, full-time YouTuber, probably they wanna. Sure, one of the goals is to replacing my former income, because I need to sustain my life, and I have family and all that stuff. So shout out to my wife, by the way. She's very supportive of my dreams and what I want to achieve. And my dream is to inspire people. So if I ever so gain some sort of foothold when I can say okay, I changed people's lives for the better. Maybe Lego as a hobby becomes somebody else's staple in their life. For me, hobby of Lego is a staple. It controls my stress levels. It controls my anxiety. I am prone to being really affected by negativity in the world. And Lego and creating content, especially sharing Lego with the audience, is a remedy of mine. So I want to achieve a piece of Thanos sitting at the end of just a piece. Maybe not so good because the guy was very 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 friendly in general, but his face when he just sits.
Yeah.
In I achieved something. I made in his eyes, in his head, he made the world a better place by terrible tools at that. But I wanna never kind of achieve that piece, but feel this continuous feeling that I'm doing something good, and that people find calmness in Lego, people find something that they can stick to, for a long time in their lives, and
Sure.
something that helps them control their stress levels, things like that. So I think that's what happiness will look for me with this channel, like trying to show that there's not only like 9 to 5s and stress of commuting and your kids and family being all over the place and just like stressing you out all the time.
Yeah.
There's Lego that can really balance things out for you and make your life better, I guess.
Well, and you bring up a good point about that. I've talked to Kate from Brick Huntress, and she'll be on sometime this weekend about mental health and stuff like that with Lego, and just kind of how a lot of people use it to kind of de-stress and stuff like that.
And it works.
And it does work. And even if, you're having a really crappy day or whatever, and you log on to a streaming platform, or not a streaming platform, but somebody that might be streaming building Lego, it you have that conversation, you have that moment of maybe you're not necessarily doing it, you're fiddling around doing something else, but you have that weird, I shouldn't say weird connection, but you have that connection, and then you're having that with your audience, and then, your channel being more of an upbeat. You're not like, this sucks, this is bad.
That's why I don't pursue the numbers, because I don't have, like, my streams are like relatively not big compared to other creators.
Yeah.
I want them to be big, but also like I love that personal connection with the viewers. There's people that I know like every nickname of, that I remember what they said to me last stream. They just come back. Every time I go live, it can be like 5, 7, 10, 20 viewers. It doesn't matter, because usually there's always the ones that always come back.
Yeah.
And it's just so good to see that, even though maybe you feel your stream is meaningless and you feel that, I'm not having like 500 viewers like this other guy.
Yeah.
By the way, comparison is also like a terrible thing in that space. So like something I want to avoid, and really enjoy the process of showing that there is meaning in building those bricks and sharing them on screen. And if I only made somebody's days better, one person's days better, that's a win for me.
Yeah.
So this is like what I keep going, honestly.
It's you mentioned about the creator side. It doesn't matter whether you're doing a YouTube channel or you're streaming or you're writing a blog or something, anything like that. The idea behind it is finding the passion and then just pushing the rest of the pain in the butts.
Exactly.
away.
And funny you should mention that, because I talked to so many people on this floor today. I was just here for a few hours, but already so many people stopped me and talked to me. And some of my viewers too are here. And one of the viewers was like, how do you do it? How do you keep going if you don't see the numbers, if you don't see that, it's leading you somewhere? I was like, well, I try to first and foremost love what I do, so numbers become secondary. I even turn off the viewer count on Twitch. I don't look at the viewer count. I just I disable it, so I don't know how little or how many people are watching me.
Yeah,
so
you're not focused on a number.
Exactly, and I told to him, because he has a small YouTube channel that's, he consistently posts videos and doesn't get the huge numbers, and he was kind of seemed a little negative about it. I was like, don't be, maybe improve a little bit on your format or something, but you can see that there's a passion in what you do. You show up every day, you do it, you share. Even though it's like 50, 100 views a video, that's fine too. You're gonna grow. Just keep going and make sure that you find love in it. Don't do it for some other artificial, numbers or whatever. And he agreed with me that it's all about the love of the craft.
Well, and you mentioned about numbers. Numbers don't... I shouldn't say everybody, that's incorrect. People that are chasing numbers, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
And in today's world, it's very prevalent to chase numbers. It's like you have this pressure of social media to just perform and be bigger.
People are hunting for those clicks.
Yes.
They want the clicks.
Yes.
They want the likes. They want the hearts. They want all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So with this whole new endeavor that you're kind of taking on in a different light, it's really cool. I can't wait to see where it goes. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about your Lego journey, because everybody is born at some point in time, and some of us pick up plastic bricks the minute we pop out of the womb. Some are when we're 20 years old. So tell us a little bit about your Lego journey.
My dark age was super long. It was like, I think I counted 22 years. I kid you not. So I started I was born in 1985, and then I think my first Lego sets were when I was 4-year-old. So my story is this. I come from Poland. At that time, like late 80s, it was a transition from communism. So 1989, the fall of communism in Poland, right? The first democratically elected president, Lech Wałęsa. And at that time, it was like a tough time. We were like post-communist country. Lego was like a luxury, like a luxurious good.
Sure.
There was a different time acquiring it. It was very expensive. I was just lucky enough to have an aunt, my father's sister, that was literally working for like an American company, Polish company, Polish Airlines actually in America. So she was able to kind of send me stuff, and my parents were able to afford Lego thanks to that. So I still like very grateful for that. So as a kid in a very tough driven country that was like during the transition period, I was able to access Lego, and I never forgot, how I got the M-Tron Megacore magnetizer for Christmas. Or like this set is still somewhere in the attic of my parents' house, and I'm gonna get it someday when I visit. But things like that shaped me as like a kid loving Lego. I had all these like 80s and 90s catalogs.
Yeah.
That thing was amazing. So many small sets. My mom, like every time I would go to like a dentist or something, she would get me something small. Like again, it was very tough to acquire. It wasn't cheap. So I'm grateful to my parents that they were able to give me some of that very unique toy. And we had all the bootleg stuff that I was getting the real thing. So that was the thing. And then like it stopped, I think, when I went to teenage years, like high school. Mm-hmm. Then I completely disconnected from Lego for some reason. I have no idea what happened. I don't recall how and when it happened. That I skipped all of the like amazing stuff from the early 2000s and late 90s, early 2000s and all that. And then basically my A-fullness hit me back in the head when I moved to the US, 2014. Late 2015, I got the job at the Lego store. And then
of course you're in it.
And that's like, I was like, because the store was opening in my neighborhood, I was like, I kind of want us part-time something, and that sounds cool. And I was like always amazed by those Lego stores that were showing up. And I got there, my first like employee payment, I got like a small, I think it was 2016 fire truck to build with my daughter. And I was like, oh, cool. Oh, wait, so the bricks haven't changed. And now I like the clutch power was there. And I was like, I was building this tiny truck with like 400 pieces. And I was like, okay, there it is. And shortly after I met Jack from Brick Vault, and the rest is history. So
and the rest is
history. Like, from getting this one set from the Lego store, I went within a year to building like 300 sets next year, because big channel, like we got all the review copies. So we were like building like ham. At some point, I was close to burning out or almost burn out from Lego building.
Yeah.
So like from nothing to 100.
It happens.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I went through that, and now I find like a great balance in how many sets I own, how many sets I buy. I don't hoard Lego, thankfully. I try not to. Yeah. So I sweep and swap, sell some here and there, whatever. But I think at this point in time, I can call myself like a healthy AFO. Has a healthy relationship with Lego. And it's not like I don't even have space or money to hoard everything I want.
Well, right. And I mean, if you're trying to keep up with the Lego catalog,
it's crazy right now.
For instance, just for the 2023 year, and we're only halfway through. It's funny because you mentioned that, and we had on a Lego employee earlier.
Oh, really?
And she was saying, about things and how they're adult-centric now, or not adult-centric, but a heavy emphasis on adult.
Uh-huh.
Well, because adults have jobs. Most have jobs and have money to spend.
I'm still friends with my former Lego store, and I whenever I stop by, I always say hi to the manager that I was working with. And he's like, look at the shelves. When you go to the Lego store, the right side is all black boxes.
Yes.
All the like 3-digit, giant display pieces. They say we keep Monkey Kid in the back because there is no space for it. Corporate wants us to show all the black boxes because that's where the market is, right?
That's where the market is.
Exactly.
Well, and like I was saying, with all of these big sets that are coming out every month, you have something that costs $400 and $500.
Do you think it is good or bad?
Now you're putting me on the couch.
I know, for me, I'm gonna say this. For me, it's everything I asked for ever, but it's like if you ask for too much and you get it, now it becomes like overwhelming.
It does become overwhelming.
I feel like they do a little too much, or maybe not too much, because the amount of sets is amazing, but maybe too often.
Well, I think maybe too often is probably more so. If you look at everything with how I've got some craziness going on over here. But the number of sets have increased. The price obviously has increased, as that just happens.
Yes.
But there's always there's a little bit of something for everybody. The problem is if you're somebody that is like, you know what, I am just a big Star Wars fan, you may spend $2,000-$3,000 a year in Star Wars.
Yes.
Whereas if you're just let's say you're a Pirates fan with the announcement of the new, I don't think it was Pirates, the El Dorado Fortress, right?
Right.
So that might be like, you know what, that's the only thing I'm going to spend money on this year.
Exactly.
But then they keep going retro.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you want that Blacktron GWP, you've got to spend $300 on something else.
We're chatting
that you
at a
don't want.
moment where it hits home so hard. Because I just like, June 9th was the double VIP point weekend.
Yeah.
And I went to the store, which was a big mistake. So $600 later, and I didn't even get like half of what I wanted, because they had the Pac-Man, the Ninjago City Garden markets, and now like 2 days later, like they announced the El Dorado Fortress. I'm like, okay, so I thought I'm done for the summer. I'm not done for the summer, because then there's the Tranquil Garden that was announced like yesterday or something. Oh yeah, so I think it's a point where a lot of AFOs will discover themselves and where they stand with how much they want to spend on their hobby. Because there are people who want to be completionists, and
Yes.
that's a very dangerous
It
thing
is very
right now.
dangerous.
You either have to be super rich or like unlimited space, or both.
Or
preferably. I'm none of those. So for me, like as a content creator, something I want to touch upon, there's a sense of expectation from the audience. Like if you say, I'm a reviewer, and then like, well, review this, I'm like, it's so hard for me to say no, or like I have to be selective.
Right.
And it's like a double-edged sword, because you want to like show it to the people, but at the
Right.
same time your wallet cannot sustain it.
Right.
And it's very difficult. So I'm like on the edge with Lego doing right and wrong here. Like it's very...
Well, and you bring that up, and I think a lot of people say, well, Jang Bricks does everything. He does everything. And
Jang is a special breed.
right.
I don't know how he does it.
It doesn't just happen like that overnight. It takes time for it to get to that point where you have this full, giant, overblown channel. Not overblown in a bad way, but that's his full-time job. And
Yes.
I've talked to him many times personally.
Did he reveal the secrets of his trade? I don't think he does.
And, well, not even that. Just how many nights he stays up until 3 o'clock in the morning, and he works on 2 hours of sleep.
Giant shout out to Jang here. Like if any of the listeners is knowing my stuff, I'm hugely inspired by whatever he does. He was like back in Brickworld, he was the guy, he was the OG. They say like, Mike, here's the breakdown. So you came from Dark Ages. This is Lego YouTube, okay? So Lego YouTube stands here. Here is Jang. And here's Beyond the Brick. Like the guys are like, just took our picture. Actually, shout out to them. And so you gotta know these guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Jang, the holy Jang, you know? So ever since like I was like mesmerized by his quality, his consistency,
Yeah.
his just like quality, the knowledge he was putting as being, I think he has a background in toy market actually. And the guy just never stops, you know, has this
He
crazy
doesn't sleep.
Twitch channel, and like all their friends on Twitch is like, Jang never sleeps. He did like a 44-hour like Millennium Falcon live stream,
Yeah.
like things like that.
He
And I'm
doesn't
like,
sleep.
and he has like this incredible, like, he's from like different planet or something. Like,
Yeah,
different dimension.
yeah, very much so.
But big
So-
shout out to him for sure. Like it's a like unachievable goal to be like this kind of work ethic, for sure.
Yeah. So we've heard your journey. We've heard what you're doing. Anybody that may be looking into becoming a content creator in any form, whether it be video, whether it be blog, anything, because there's so many people that are like, you know what, like you, for instance, I'm inspired by so-and-so, I'm going to start doing this.
Yes.
What kind of words of wisdom do you have for anybody that may be looking to just, you know, jump off that ledge and just maybe not go full-time and be like, I'm quitting my job today, I'm going to start tomorrow?
Right.
What kind of words of wisdom do you have for somebody that might be looking to jump into content creation for the Lego side of things?
There are no shortcuts. I think that's like, if I had to say one thing, there are no shortcuts. There is no magical like, I'm gonna go viral overnight thing. You gotta love what to do. I'm not even like, I don't think I'm even the right person to ask, because I haven't achieved the success like quantified success, like it's seen on YouTube or anything, but I think my passion drives me forward and allows me to not care about the numbers. At some point I will have to, but it's not that point yet. But if I had to say something to people jumping in, and by the way, gotta give a little shout out to YouTube because like my main platform is YouTube.
Yeah.
I think what you mentioned, that many people try to jump into that world, YouTube changed monetization kind of thresholds 3 days ago, so it's down from 1,000 to 500 subs, and it's like there's like easier way to monetize your channel. But with that in mind, I even made a video on my channel. I'm yet to edit that, but I said exactly the same point. Like it's easier to get in, and you feel like, oh, I achieved something, I got monetized. Here's the thing: you're not gonna see a dime for months,
Yes.
or you're not gonna see a dime for years, if so be it. To stand out and to actually attract viewers, like people like you, thank you so much for being so flattering to me. You say like you are inspired by me or something, but like, I feel like I have so much more to do, and it's like the only thing forward in front of me is the love for what I do, and that has to go not for weeks, not for months, it has to go for years. I see myself doing this in 5 years from now as I've seen myself doing this 5 years ago, and I think this is something you have to keep in mind when you jump into this. Identify your threshold of seriousness, because if you say I'm serious, I want to be a content creator, measure in years, and it really is like it's not, there's no shortcut really. People who say there are shortcuts to get like million views in your next video, I think they're wrong, because it usually takes incredible amount of time behind the scenes, and something people don't see. When you see a video, you see a result, you click the like, you post a comment, cool, I'm done.
Right.
That took me 10 seconds. And maybe like the time you watch the video. But in reality, that's probably like 16, 20, 30 hours of creators' work time that goes into it for every single video. Of course, people will like try to simplify the production and all that, but for me personally, every video you see on my channel, every simplest one, any news video, that's like 1 to 4 hours of editing, recording, extra takes, the cursing in between. There's so much to it. So from somebody who did it over the last few hundred videos for multiple brands, it takes a lot, and you need a lot of perseverance and longevity, and really believe in yourself and love what you do, because there is no shortcuts. I'm just gonna circle back around. No shortcuts.
And
No
if,
shortcuts.
If you're gonna do it, you've got to, like you said, you have to determine where your threshold is.
Exactly.
Of seriousness, and I'm either 100% in on this, and I'm gonna, like you set a goal and say, you know what, I'm gonna post a video once a week. Or
exactly, and it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine to set like a very, like, you know, compared to others. That don't ever. Oh, another thing, don't ever compare yourself to others. Because like if somebody posting like 5 times a week and you can only do once a week, you're fine too. You're equally valuable creator. So keep that in mind. Just don't overkill yourself, and don't think that everybody's telling you like you gotta post daily. You really don't have to. But again, with that comes a certain level of threshold of your seriousness you wanna achieve. If you wanna make it a full-time income, then you gotta go ham. Unlike if you wanna post a single video every week, it has to be a banger.
Right.
So like, you know, there's like a thing of kind of like understanding your skills and possibilities. And by the way, skills grow over time, so never stop practicing, kind of that thing, you know?
So to end this, where can people find you at? Because your stuff is great, and they need to go follow, click like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things. I don't even know what they all are anymore with all the platforms. So where can people find you, hear what you have to say?
You can find me on Bricks Kings podcast.
Oh, well, of course, they're here now, but where can they go from here?
Of course. No, like my main platform is YouTube, so now YouTube has this like fancy handle, so I'm just at The Cool Factor, youtube.com/@thecoolfactor. That's a simple handle. And on Twitch, that's my second platform that I'm trying to grow. Twitch.tv/it's_the_cool_factor. Because they were like, I couldn't just do it one go. It has to be underscores.
Yeah.
But yeah, Twitch and YouTube are my main things. If you go to my YouTube and Twitch, you will see links to my Instagrams and Twitters. But I focus on platforms that carry actual visual content.
Gotcha.
So like Twitter is like my, hey, I'm live, and things like that. Or like, I'm on Brickworld Chicago, and it's cool in here. So. But yes, if you want to see me, my face and my what I do with my Lego bricks, those YouTube and Twitch are the places I would love to see you.
So there you guys have it. If you are curious, please go do the things, the likes, the follows, the subscribes, and all that kind of stuff. You will not be disappointed. I can promise you that.
Thank you.
So
wow.
All right, Mike,
I'm gonna take this until Monday. I'm gonna take it to my heart and just walk around and just thank you.
It'll fill your heart when you get back on the airplane and have to deal with all the people at the airport.
My heart is full.
So, Mike, thanks for coming on, and we'll have to have you back again in the future.
Absolutely.
Like
now we broke the ice. This is the first time I'm talking to a microphone to a person next to me, so we broke the ice. So
all right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Well, that'll do it, and thank you to Mike for chatting with me and sharing his story. And if you have not heard of Mike yet, The Cool Factor, make sure you go check his stuff out. He does a really good job with his content. It's not a fly-by-night. His vlog that he did from the trip in Chicago was actually really cool in the way that it was done. Again, he just has an eye for it. Some people do, some people don't. And it just turned out really, really well, among many other things. So, and then the streaming part. His streams are, he's a really nice dude to chat with. You know, you can get into one of his streams and be in there for the entire time like I was the one night. We just got chatting. It was great. So anyway, I think there's 3 more interviews left, and those are coming along with some other things. So until we meet again, I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's belt on it.